Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Figure It Out Productions. The following video is part of our Quick Shoot series. Hey guys, it's Adam here, and recently I took a trip out to Philadelphia, and while I was out there I checked out this store. It's called Game Junkie. It's an insane store. Just wait till you go inside. See, there's all sorts of people that are excited. I was out there with this guy. This is Shane, aka Rerez TV. You might know him. He's a fellow YouTuber. So I was in Philadelphia for a convention called Too Many Games, which I've already done videos on. You can check it out. But yeah, so after the convention was over, Shane said, hey, we should go check out Game Junkie. The owner, Frank, is a really nice guy, and you know, he has this awesome store, and you got to see it. And I was like, of course. So yeah, this is that awesome store. They actually opened up specifically just for us. They were actually going to be closed that day. I mean, this is all right. So this is obviously a long video, and you'll know, and it's not because most of this video is me talking about my pickups. It's actually the other way around. This time it's just so much stuff that I can't even begin to quantify. Like, I can't even really, like, right there, that's a Wii dev kit just sitting in there. Like, of course you go in and you see like all the super rare items, like, you know, there's boxed Zero the Kamikaze Squirrel for SNES, the Zelda Unholy Triforce for the CDI. I mean, really, go back. I went as, you know, I took my time, because I know you guys like often get mad at me with these videos when I don't take enough time to get footage of stuff. You know, it's whatever. There was that Sharp NES, like, built into a TV was up there. They had the controllers for it. All sorts of just, like, they have 2 bottles of the Fallout Quantum Soda, which an employee of Target told me that most stores only got like 6 bottles, and then everybody kept them. So to actually see one was nice. Jaguar CD, you know, a lot of stuff I don't know, and a lot of stuff I do know, but, you know, like PC Engine, you know, stuff like that. I mean, look at this, just random stuff. There's a Dreamcast broadband adapter back there, sealed. Pong stuff, Pokemon stuff, Vectrex stuff everywhere. And again, this is just after you go in and take a left at the first thing. N64 kiosk. And then let's go and look at more of the regular stock here. We got Super Nintendos, boxed games, and Super Famicom games, and of course loose carts all over the place. Tons and tons of loose carts. Over here we have some, you know, strategy guides. And then I just wanted to kind of get a nice shot of like the decor. Obviously that first shot I showed you, the intro, was shot after this. It was just dark out, but when I was in there it was still nice and, you know, bright. But yeah, that big Mario thing, shout out to Pete Diak. He was once the proud owner of one of those, and now I believe Kamal Lally at We Got Games is now the owner of it. Lots of N64 stuff in boxed, or boxed controllers, I mean. Granted, those are third-party controllers. But then you got all sorts of games there, loose carts of NES. Look at that. That's a sea of NES. Tengen cartridges separated from the conventional NES cartridges, Famicom cartridges, box games, of course, consoles and everything. And on the other side, you just get a better look at some of the items that you couldn't see in the rare case there. Yeah, more box consoles, 32X, and just random other video game paraphernalia. I'm just noticing now there was a Mega Drive in the box. Again, we didn't have Mega Drive, we had Genesis, so to see a Mega Drive in the box there is kind of unique. Lots more stuff. Look at all this stuff there. Very, very cool. That's a look, there was some sort of Club Nintendo Mario thing there, as well as yeah, promotional materials. X-Band cartridge was in there. I thought I saw one. Sega CD stuff. It's nice to actually see a store with a decent Sega CD selection. That doesn't come up very often. Shout out to Vampire Mike, Sega CD Universe. I'm sure, I mean, I know you have a full set, but I'm sure this was exciting to you nonetheless. Sega 32X selection there. And a nice Genesis collection there. Although a lot of sports stuff in the box, but that's kind of, you know, standard, par for the course. A lot of Genesis collections, when you actually see them, have tons and tons of the sports games. But I like how we had these signs up to kind of denote, like, generally what console you're looking at. So when most people, unfortunately, when they think of Sega, they just think of the Genesis, but they call it the Sega, which is stupid. Don't do that. But yeah, there's Genesis stuff. There's Master System stuff. I love the box for the Master System, by the way. Some other little like novelty items, like as you can see, like socks and things like that. More T-shirts and hats and all sorts of things. But yeah, look, Ghostbusters on Master System, very nice. I almost picked that up, but ended up not doing it. Sega Saturn stuff, very, very healthy collection of Sega Saturn games, both North American and Japanese. It's nice that they had a lot of Japanese stuff in there as well. More plushies. That's Gilly. Some of you must know him. He's another YouTuber. Yeah, so lots of PlayStation 1 there, both long box and the regular jewel case. Nice Dreamcast selection. And I have a full Dreamcast set, and it's so when I'm out looking for Dreamcast stuff, it's usually for other people, and I've kind of gotten a sense that Dreamcast stuff, you never see it anymore. They have actually had the Bleemcast stuff. That was the blue and the green thing. It was Bleemcast for Tekken 3 and Bleemcast for Metal Gear Solid. They actually had a surprisingly impressive Dreamcast collection. Most stores that have Dreamcast stuff, it's pretty much slim pickings, but they actually had a lot of worthwhile titles in there. It was very nice to see that. Very refreshing. 3DO stuff, CDI stuff, Jaguar stuff. That's the Jaguar Pro controller. Crusher Bad 64. I think you're the only person I know that has one of those. And television stuff, Atari 2600 stuff. A lot of the 70s stuff, of course, is on this side, as well as all the consoles and stuff for all this, like the Odyssey 2 is right there. And yeah, they have a bunch of the consoles up above, so you can go in and just check it out. I really like the way this store is displayed. I think it looks good. It's very organized and it's very clean. But then they had the Atom. It's got my name on it. Why not? I know, the Coleco Atom, I know. Yeah, lots of toys, usually video game themed, not all in every single case, but of course Rocky, because Philadelphia, big thing there. Yeah, and then he has a Dreamcast kiosk. I am the proud owner of one of these as well. And a lot of PC games in the box. Not my thing, but a lot of people have them or like that. It's nice to be able to see that at least. PS1 imports isolated like that. That's kind of cool. You don't see them that often, and when you do, it's nice that they're actually isolated. Lots of decoration stuff. A lot of the rarer stuff back there, of course, as per usual. Neo Geo stuff you saw. Those are like DVDs of like collections, like the Game Chasers stuff and the AVGN stuff. You can buy DVDs of them. Lots of PlayStation stuff, and then in here you got some of the more uncommon games, again, as is normal. TurboGrafx 16, also Dreamcast stuff. There's a couple. They had 2 copies of Shenmue 2 PAL edition back there, and more Dreamcast games. Obviously more Jaguar. I mean, again, these are you get it. These are a lot of the rarer stuff. It's either sealed or just the games themselves are the more sought after ones that are more expensive. You know how it usually goes in stores like this. Yeah, lots of cool stuff in there. Saturn and I didn't even notice they had Hyperstone Heist for the Genesis there. Or not Ikaruga, Radiant Silvergun for the Japanese Saturn. Mega Man 8 and X4 again. Look at all the Saturn stuff, but that's like the high end, insane Saturn stuff. Oh yeah, Web of Fire for 32X. No big deal. Lots of 64. Again, the more uncommons. Some Japanese 64 in there too. Genesis and more box Genesis. Master System, more Sega CD, more Sega Saturn, more box than 64, more Jaguar. Big Steel Battalion controller up there, plus a Famicom clone. I don't know if you caught it, but it's up there. Yeah, and then a bunch of random things, including some TurboGrafx 16 games, Virtual Boy in the box. More PlayStation 1, the other side of that unit there. Very cool. As well as all this stuff. You have more Atari stuff and NES and SNES stuff. And then more of the uncommons that Mega Man X3 for Super Famicom, plus a bunch of the Super Nintendo games. More sought after, of course, for one reason or another. And more NES. Yeah, look at that. Just tons of it. Lots and lots of great stuff in this store. Various handheld devices and like accessories. You got the N-Gage, you got the Nomad, but then you also have the Gamecom, and just a bunch of stuff in there. All, of course, Game Boy cartridges, etc. more random items, Mega Man display. Now, it looks extremely busy, but a lot of the people there were just over at the convention, and when Frank said he was going to open up, a lot of them are actually his family members who help him run the store. So it was, you know, I didn't want to bother them too much, but they gave me full permission to film, so that was very nice of them to do. Lots of custom controllers. You also saw there was some of the more sought-after Xbox games in there. And I believe that's Frank's son. Frank is the owner. He was very excited that we were filming a YouTube video. More consoles and plushies and lots of Pokemon stuff and like Lego Dimensions stuff. Yeah, you know, not really my thing, but you know, a lot of people like it, of course. Then here is the original Xbox section. Oh, I'm just noticing now that he had Karaoke Revolution in the box. I've been looking for that. I can't believe I didn't notice that. Ah, damn it. But yeah, so a lot of original Xbox stuff there. Both sections here. It was pretty well stocked for original Xbox. One little curse of shopping for original Xbox, particularly at things like conventions or swaps, etc., is that a lot of stores, they don't bother bringing it out because there's very few people collecting original Xbox, so they just don't ever bring it with them. So you only see some of the stuff, the quote-unquote better games that are the only ones you ever see there. And if you already own those, then the only things you can't find are the sports games. And if they don't bring the sports games, then those are the ones you're missing. It's just a stupid situation. But anyway, obviously all this stuff is PlayStation 2. Lots of PlayStation 2. PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. Again, you know, making sure they got the up-to-date stuff there that, you know, people come in for, but also having right across the way all the retro stuff for my nerds like me that love to do that. Of course, we got Xbox 360 and Xbox One. Very cool, very cool. And the accessories and lots of Xbox 360 games, more plushies, more Xbox 360 games. I think you guys get it. There's just a lot of inventory in this store. And believe it or not, we're not done. There's more plushies here. And then we turn this way, and we got more like controllers of, you know, the more weird ones, like the big basketball controller that came out for like, what was it, starting 5 or something like that for the 360? I don't remember. It had Darren Williams on the cover. Yeah, there's a sport ball reference. But yeah, more 360. Wii U. Probably one of the best Wii U selections I've seen like anywhere, which, you know, tells you a lot about the Wii U. More, you know, like that was a cool Mario thing there, actually. The big figurine and board games like Halo Monopoly. I didn't even know that was a thing. Wii games. Nice year of Luigi poster there. Lots of Wii stuff. There you go. If the Wii is your thing, there is a lot of options available to you there. Boxed consoles. Oh, a GameCube kiosk. I kind of forgot that was there. Yeah, check it out. We got all sorts of like little tote bags for consoles, those carrying cases. That's what it is. I think that was a Neo Geo CD. I can't believe I didn't notice that. My bad if I didn't call that out. I didn't notice it, so I'm not sure if that was actually what it was. I just saw something I think was a Neo Geo CD. I know he had a boxed one before, but I didn't notice if that was a loose console. GameCube stuff. Very healthy selection of GameCube. Which is very nice because, as I'm sure a lot of you know, GameCube stuff, you don't see it as often as it deservedly should be. But, yeah, so here originally is like where I was going to end the video because I was like, oh, that's really cool. There's your store, you know, there's a nice shot of the whole environment and this awesome ad up on top. But then they started showing us other random things. So like this was that keyboard you saw was an NES game. It was like almost mint in the box, so he just took it out. We all started playing it. Then we went down to his basement. So the footage is I apologize right now because the footage will probably autofocus a lot. Just because my camera cannot handle low lighting. But this is the basement of the store, and it's just a sea of insanity. Like, it's so much great stuff that's just, you know, stockpiled there, and then, you know, they clean it up, they restore it and all that stuff, and then they put it out on the floor when they need like extra GameCubes and N64s. But he volunteered to show us this basement, and we were just like, oh my god, I gotta see this. So just look at this. It's like whole bins full of Super Nintendos, whole bins full of Genesis, like a whole bin full of Dreamcasts. Look at this right there. It's just That's just awesome and somewhat horrifying at the same time. But it's really quite cool. Yeah, look at that. Now, I kind of apologize right now for, well, I do apologize for the way I shot this, because I was just kind of, meandering as best I could. I didn't want to get into people's faces too much. Even though I had permission to film, it's still kind of awkward to just put people on camera if you don't know if they're actually cool with it or not. So, yeah, I just kind of, moved around as best I could and show you what I could. This apparently was an old speakeasy, this, like, basement, like, back in the day. I think right to my right in this shot, but I'm sorry that I'm not showing it well, but I think you could see it earlier, was a whole big box full of Odyssey 2s, which I'd never seen something like that. Yeah, there you go. Odyssey 2s, ColecoVisions. There's a giant stack of 360s over there on the left. Tons of NESs. Yeah, look at that. A lot of first-gen stuff. The Odyssey 2000 there. And then just games. I'm assuming a lot of that stuff is just recently purchased, and then they have to, like, go through it. Wii's, original Xboxes, Xbox 360s. Tons and tons and tons of stuff. Yeah, look at that. And then in that whole section... Oh, excuse me. In that whole section there is just a lot of controllers and everything. You'll see that in a bit. But, yeah, look at all this stuff. And then this caught my eye because the Dex drive for the PS1, Shane had just bought the Dex drive for the N64, so I kind of got distracted, and I went over there, I saw that, and I was like, Shane, you got to go over, you got to check out, they have a Dex drive for the PS1. And, yeah, and then, look at that, look at all the 360s back there, look at all this Xbox stuff, which I did go through, but, yeah, and then, again, there's the big controller section. Tons and tons of stuff in there. Very cool. And then, yeah, again, I apologize. Again, there was just a bunch of people, so it was, like, really hard to kind of organize. There's Frank. That's the guy who runs the store. It's the owner. He's a really nice guy. Yeah, and then, so back here, there is another storeroom full of just more things. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to check it out. That's Gilly there. He's looking through a bunch of Rock Band stuff.
These are super pricey. This one, it's got a little USB dongle that comes with it. Mm-hmm. They're super expensive.
It's random.
Yeah. Because everybody loses the dongles.
I don't know anything about Rock Band, of course, so it's good that he was there for that. But yeah, lots more games everywhere. Yeah, I know the camera's going to start autofocusing like crazy. But yeah, how cool is this? It's just so much stuff. Like, obviously the store is a business, so they have to have it somewhat organized, and they have to, clean it up and all that. But it's just when you get to actually see, like, behind the curtain of, like, how a game store like this has to operate and all the inventory it has to deal with, you just go, wow, that's a lot of manpower required, because that's just a lot of time that it takes to do stuff like that. And he's making it work, so it's quite impressive. Xbox complete stuff. Just look at that. Just sea of it. It's awesome. I didn't notice it before. There's a bunch of Donkey Konga bongos right there. And then again, this is where I thought the video would end. But then they said, "Oh yeah, no, go down the aisle with all the controllers and stuff and see what's in there." And then I recognized that there were just tons of consoles sitting up there. It was a CDI. I know the lighting sucks, but that thing up there is actually a Neo Geo CD, just chilling. More controllers, all sorts of stuff. Just look at this. There's a stack of TurboGrafx 16s and a PlayStation 2 for some reason. Yeah, very, very cool. More stuff just everywhere. More controllers and consoles and cables, and just there's all sorts of random things we found in there too that was just made Shane extremely happy, because he's really into, like, random controllers and things. This was Shane's pickup. This is what he got. The TV Game 6, which apparently was Nintendo's first console of any capacity. It predates the NES by quite a bit. Now I'm going to show you my pickups. So that was Game Junkie in Philadelphia, or, well, technically it's in a suburb, or I think it's a suburb, called Glenside, so feel free to look it up. I'll put their Facebook information in the description so you can find them real easy. Now, of course, you saw there was all sorts of insane and great stuff, but you have to remember, I didn't have a car out there. I was flying there, flying back, and I was limited to my backpack because I didn't bring a suitcase, because I'm not going to pay a luggage fee for a suitcase, just because I don't want to. It's the principle that matters. It's the principle, damn it. So I always pack light on stuff like that. But that does mean, logistically, that I'm limited to whatever I can fit into my bag. I did okay at the convention, but I had a little bit of room left, and I thought, okay, I could pick some stuff up, but I didn't want to go out of control. So this is what I got. Just a few, honestly, pretty basic pickups, but this is what it is. First up, Big Air Freestyle for the GameCube. Honestly, not a particularly exciting game, but one of the things cool about it is it includes a Godzilla Destroy All Monsters demo. But the reason I got it was the reason I get most GameCube games that I pick up is just simply that it's a 6th gen game that didn't come out on the original Xbox. That's it. And now the rest of that stuff would be original Xbox games, which I'm getting much closer to that point where I'm going to have to admit to myself that maybe I'm going to get a full set eventually. Psychologically, it's one of those. It's a tough thing to cross because once you do it, there's no going back. But anyway, here's what I managed to get off of the list. I got Colin McRae Rally 2005, which was exciting because I never see this one. There were 3 Colin McRae Rally games, and I become familiar with what's common, what's not common, at least in my area, and at least the other areas I hit up with some frequency. Obviously, I never head out to Philadelphia. This is the first time I've been to the East Coast, the American East Coast, in a long time. Especially for game hunting. I don't think I've ever actually done that before. So that's kind of weird now that I think about it. But I never see this one, and Frank had multiple copies of it, and it was actually really cheap, which it usually isn't. I think I've seen it once locally, and it didn't have the manual, and it was super expensive, so definitely had to get that. Murakumo Renegade Mech Pursuit. I don't see this one that often, though I do see it from time to time, but it's usually really expensive, or maybe not really expensive, but just not a price I was willing to pay, or it's in terrible condition, those kinds of things. But he had them all. It was in good shape, good price. There was really no reason not to pick it up, so I did it. This one was super exciting. Scrapland. I never see this game ever. It's American McGee presents Scrapland, but Scrapland. I never see this one. I saw it in Michigan a couple of times, but I thought I had it. I did not. So I've been looking for it since, and I never saw it anywhere. Unless I think I saw it once in a place that had it in a Blockbuster case with a printed Xerox cover. Ugh. So you basically just disc only. But no, he had it. Good price. Went for it. This one I don't think I've ever seen before. So it was nice to get it. It was Ultimate Beach Soccer. Obviously nothing that exceptional, but it was cool to to get it off the list. Since again, when you go around hunting for a console all the time, you become very familiar with what's common, what's not common, etc. And this one is not common, not valuable. None of them are valuable. That's one of the great things about original Xbox, at least right now. None of it's valuable, with a couple of exceptions. But there are degrees of common and uncommon, so very cool. Maybe some of these were more common on the East Coast, I don't know. But regardless, I got them now, they're mine, and they're added into the collection, which is awesome. So that's it. I want to thank Frank and for having such a great store. Game Junkie was really, really cool. He also gave me a little discount on this stuff, which was really nice of him to do. He didn't have to do that, but he did anyway, so thank you for that. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all later.